Welcome back, Bottle Killers. Another episode of Bottle Kill TV. As always, it's your host, Michael Roche. And with me, we have the often imitated, but never duplicated. It's the real Bottle Killer, ladies and gentlemen. How the hell are you?
Doing good, thanks, Michael. Thanks for joining us. Hope you've got a nice dram in hand, ready to go with another episode of Bottle Kill TV.
Yeah. So this is one that's interesting to me.
Yeah.
For a number of reasons. So Arbikie. Is that how you say it? Arbikie?
I think it's Arbikie.
Highland Rye.
Yeah.
So this is the first rye whiskey to be released from a Scotch distillery in 100 years.
Yeah, first Scotch rye whiskey in 100 years.
So first Scottish rye whiskey, fourth owners of the bottle, and if you can see the bottle, it's not actually. It's only had a neck pour. So everybody previously, I'm the fourth owner of this. So this came from my brother-in-law Luke. He's been very generous recently, hasn't he, Luke?
Yeah,
he's
Luke,
coming up for his bottles. He's providing
the goods
for Bottle Kill TV. His brother, I think, had it first. Didn't like it. Gave it to Luke's mum and dad, who didn't like it. Gave it to Luke, who didn't like it. Who gave it to us to review.
Okay.
Now, this could go anywhere, this episode, because we kind of like a bit tight on time today. We kind of rushed in here, didn't have a warm-up dram. All I've had is water all day, so my palate isn't adjusted. So for a rye whiskey, which I don't really know what to expect. I'm not a big bourbon drinker myself.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen. So if it's been rejected 4 times, is it a buy? Is it a keep? This could be.
It doesn't sound like a strong start, does it? It doesn't fill you with confidence, but maybe this is the test to see if, do we just say every whiskey is a buy, or is this one for the bin?
Well, what's interesting is this is £130 a bottle, so they must think they have something special, right? This isn't just like they're throwing this like a crappy hay club out there for £18. This is from farm to field to factory to whatever else they do in between. It's kind of there's a whole labor of love behind this. They've tried to do something unique, tried to do something high end, and so yeah, that's the dichotomy that's interested me for it to be today's review.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, it's like you say, it's a single site operation, isn't it? So that they're doing everything in house. They're using the grains that they've grown themselves and distilling all on site. So I think they produce vodka as well that they make from potatoes that they grow on the farm.
Yeah.
Vodka.
It's under Arbikie vodka on the Masters of Malt.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm not really too sure what to expect, but I'm not full of confidence given the amount of times this bottle has been passed hands. But nevertheless, why don't we take a little look at what we've got here?
Oh wow, yeah, straight away.
So this is the 1794 Highland Rye. It's bottled at 48%, and like Michael said, it's about £130 a bottle. So
this is as if somebody had spilt an old Pulteney in the same room where they were varnishing the floor.
I've never heard a taster note like that before. It's very woody, isn't it?
Can you see the varnish though? The varnish note.
Yeah, definitely.
It's got kind of that sort of like lacquer varnishy note.
Yeah, definitely. So it's
heavy.
It's a single grain whiskey.
It's got a sea salt to it as well. It's got a coastal.
Definitely.
Describe it, a coastal saltiness.
They describe it as coastal as well, don't they? There is a bit of salt there.
Definitely get the woody, cardboardy.
Yeah. Some kind of like toasted caramel as well. Just caramel.
Just when you were doing a bit of research for the episode, did you get like an age statement on this? What is it? Because I know you always talk about grains really need like a long time to catch up to single malts.
Yeah.
Did they give any indication about? Because they do them in batches. So this is batch 22. Do you know what that means in terms of year, distilled, matured?
I don't think so. So typically, with a single grain whiskey, they tend to be better when they're older. So, for me, I quite like single grain, but 20 and above really for me in a single grain. Now, this being a rye whiskey, I wouldn't imagine that it is that aged. I can't recall. I think the distillery started producing around about 2013. And then I think the first release of this came in about 2018. So, we're probably talking about a 4 or 5 year old whiskey here.
Okay.
So it's been, it's the mash bill is a combination of rye, wheat and grain. And then it's been matured in charred American virgin oak, I think, is what they say.
I do feel like right now what you're doing is you're like that kid where, you know, they're on holiday and they're petering around the pool because they don't want to jump in because it's going to be cold.
Have you tried it yet?
No.
I'm the same.
It's like sometimes you just got to dive in.
Okay. Down the hatch, as they say.
Very different, very different.
Mm. It's interesting though, because I guess you're probably less familiar with rye whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's very dry, isn't it? On the palate, there's some bitterness coming through in the finish.
It's got a really bitter finish.
Yeah, like really dark chocolate kind of bitterness.
Yeah. It's actually
the face kind of tells the story.
the first bit isn't bad. It's the aftertaste is kind of like the part I'm not really vibing with.
Kind of reminds me of like,
they do have the taster notes on the bottle, so let's see what they say. So, you know, the taste profile: black tea, forest berries, caramel. What are you getting from there?
It reminds me of like pine cones for some reason on the palate. Like it's got
it's this incredible like wood,
very woody. You
Woodness.
know, it's not fruity at all, really, is it? It's all wood and spice, wood and spice.
The goodness comes from its woodness.
Yeah,
got wood.
But yeah, I think sort of pine cones. Some of those spices like that cinnamon, nutmeg kind of spice, very peppery. Short,
really
kind of
peppery,
dry finish. Yeah, rye tends to be spicy. Rye whiskey.
It kind of does have a bit of that, like I wouldn't say like salted caramel.
Yeah,
like note to it, doesn't it? It
Yeah.
does have that salted caramel.
yeah. I'd give it that. It's really weird though. Like,
but it's an adjuster because this is like I said, this was going to be a challenge to the palate, right?
yeah,
We knew this. The fact that it's the fourth, and those guys have got pretty good taste in whiskey. You know, then they're no fool. They have that as one of their hobbies, where they do enjoy buying whiskeys and trying them and regularly try different ones. And I think they get some pretty good ones as well. So it's always going to be challenging, and to have first when your mouth's not adjusted or warm yet. It's always going to be that, but it's not.
it's not like offensive. It's different though, isn't it? It's so different to
so different.
Scotch.
Yeah.
And it does. You get that kind of rye bread on the nose as well.
It kind of
very cereal kind of dry cereal kind of notes.
It's kind of waiting for like for me, I'm waiting for like the orange to hit, you know, from like an old fashioned. It's kind of like what I forget when I first drink an old fashioned, but then there's none of the sweetness on the backside.
Yeah,
that you'd get when you're drinking a cocktail and you're drinking rye whiskey in a cocktail.
I wonder. I've not added any water to it, but I am going to give that a little try. I'm going to put a fair bit in, I think. Just give that a little.
But it's super dry on the palate. You know, it's kind of got that consistency of what you'd expect from more of a winey cask, isn't it? Rather than the American charred oak. So
yeah,
you know, it's kind of got that bit of better extra like naughtiness on it on the charred oak as well.
Yeah, and I guess because it's more akin to kind of like a bourbon, a rye whiskey is, then it's certainly closer to that than it would be to a Scotch.
Oh, for sure.
You know, one of the things that I read as well is that goes well with ice. I personally don't rarely put ice in the whiskey. You do it every now and again, don't you? You have a little Johnny Walker Black Label with some ice and that. So it'd be interesting to see, you know, if ice or chilling it, sticking it in the freezer affects it, the flavour. But yeah, I mean, I don't even think that water's not bringing out any fruity notes at all. So it's lacking in the sweetness. It's all kind of wood and cereals.
Yeah, so you'd think this would be a waste in a cocktail. You'd have to imagine, because you spent £130 to put something in a cocktail, and to disguise the flavour of the whiskey, right? So it doesn't have a utility there. So you're here to drink it. So I think the next experiment would be is to maybe go grab some ice.
Yeah.
Maybe pop in. Have you got any ice available?
Yeah, I can get some.
Okay, let's pause this and let's come back with some ice. Okay, we're back. If you're a whiskey anorak, then look away now. The ice. Bottle Kill TV. What have we come to? We're putting ice
Get
in
some
our drinks. Could we get cancelled here? Could we get a strike on YouTube?
Get some ice in the shivers.
Ralphie will never do a podcast now.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not. I mean, I think people can drink whiskey however they want. At the end of the day, it's their bloody drink. But I'm not one that typically puts ice in it. But as I say, reading about this whiskey, it was something that was recommended. So it's all about the experimentation, isn't it? That's what we're doing.
Well, at the end of the day, your whiskey is there for you to enjoy, right? You enjoy it the way that you want to enjoy it. Who kind of cares if you're not hurting anyone at the end of the day? If you've got a really flavorful, really integrity malt, well then you may be losing some of that experience by putting ice in it and drowning out the flavor. Like they like lager. What did they like lager and real ale?
Yeah.
They chill lager to take take the white wine's another one. Where they chill it, so it tastes nothing. It takes away the badness out of the taste. Red wine, you don't do that with red wine, right?
So what we're trying to do here is basically take away the badness of the
yeah, we didn't sell that.
Arbikie with some ice, basically just drown it out.
We're being like very passively aggressive, almost annoying, like little shots. But
do you know what? It's a bit of an enigma. I know that's a word that we tend to fall back to every now and again, but it's just so unusual, isn't it? And I'm really struggling to understand if I like it or not. It's not like offensive. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's with the ice has got is give it a different sensation.
I do like it. I think I prefer it with the ice.
It's gone super cloudy as well. So does that mean that it's non-chill filtered when it goes misty?
I think this is non-chill filtered. Yeah.
But now I feel like a bit more like I could on a Friday night, if I wanted to have a bit of one that's gonna like really wet the whistle.
Yeah.
Like a bit of a feel like a bit of a Don Draper cigar. Cigar rye. And have it with an ice, have it chilled. I think this is actually a good little sipper.
Do you know what? I think where we're heading towards though is that like practically an old fashioned. Do you know what I mean? Like it's got the ice in. You might as well just go to full hog. Stick some bitters in there, get some orange peel in, some brown sugar, because it lacks the sweetness right as well. So I think that brown sugar would really help sort of make it more balanced, because I think because it is so woody and spicy, it lacks that sweetness. This I think would be good in an old fashioned, but then it begs the question: why would you spend 130 quid on a bottle of whiskey that you're just going to put in an old fashioned when you can pick up really good rye whiskey like Sazerac Rye? I think you can get that for like 30-35 pounds, and if you're just slinging it in an old fashioned, I mean, I'd personally go with that. So what do we think? Do we think this bottle's going to have another owner by the end of today?
Is it going to have a fifth owner? Well, we all go in the boozer. Maybe we give it a nudge. See if he likes it. We keep it passed on. The bottle that it goes around the world.
The next time we see him, we'll be like, I thought you guys liked me.
We end up this bottle. It ends up on the news. It's like a 3,000 owner.
Guinness World Record for the most owned bottle of whiskey. Yeah.
This is the whole thing of our channel. It's us sharing our whiskey journey with you, and maybe we take that one step further.
So what were we saying then?
So I actually think it's intriguing. I'm not sure on it. I need to try it again, and I also need to have 2 drams of it in a row.
More of it.
So now that's probably a little bit
Too thin.
too watery. Yeah.
Yeah.
We probably attacked it too much there.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And that was only a small cube of ice as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of teetering on that. It's I think for me, I think there's one thing that I'm readily to admit is my sort of inexperience of palate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so I'm probably not the best guide of maybe what this could be.
Yeah.
But I do think it's I don't hate it.
I don't hate it. You know, I think now that it's quite diluted, that ice has melted into it. I am getting some citrus peels come through, but it's so like piney to me.
It's the fact that it doesn't really develop beyond the pine. What's that, Ryan? Is that a Ryan Gosling film? Beyond the Pines? That's what this whiskey is, Beyond the Pines.
Yeah. So
Would you be pining for another one?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
So you got your answer.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well. Is it so? Highland Rye, 1794. Is it a keep?
A keeper or a passer? I think we should pass it on. Let some other people enjoy this fine experience that we've just had. It's not to my personal taste. I think, you know, I've had much better rye whiskies, the American rye whiskies, some of the Canadian rye whiskies. Yeah, it's very wood driven, you know, quite kind of sharp. It does have the spice, but I think it just lacks balance for me. It's not, you know, I know we've kind of given it a bit of a slating. It's not as bad as perhaps, you know, maybe it's kind of coming across, but like, you've got to take the price into consideration as well. £130 for, I want like a whiskey that's going to light me up if I'm spending £130, and that is not this whiskey. So I'd move it on swiftly to somebody else's whiskey cabinet.
I'm intrigued. I'm not over it yet.
Yeah.
No, I think it's kind of like a. It's like when you go on a date with a girl that you really fancy, but there's no chemistry. But you really think she's beautiful. But you know it's not meant to be. But it's like maybe we just need to hit our stride. You know, maybe sometimes you just need to hit that one conversation. You both realize that you like X, and you suddenly go to a different level.
So you're going to keep pushing on with the Arbikie.
So I think it's going to get another date.
Fair play.
Get another date. We're not going to ghost it. We're not going to give it away. We're going to give it another go. So for me it's a keep. And then maybe pass on. I think this bottle was made to be passed on though.
Yeah.
And I think for now though, give it another go.
Fair play. Well, there you go. That was Arbikie Highland Rye, 1794. So, yeah, thank you for joining us. I've had a really good time. I hope you've all had a good time. Michael, have you had a good time?
It's been intriguing today.
And we'll see you next time on Bottle Kill TV.